The Warhammer 40K galaxy is not defined by hope, progress, or peace. It is defined by repetition, endless conflict, endless extinction. Every faction, every empire, every ancient power exists in a loop of war that never truly ends. Now, imagine something entering this galaxy that does not merely survive war, but learns from it. A being forged not to conquer, not to rule, but to adapt endlessly through destruction itself. Doomsday is not a conqueror. He is not a strategist. He is an evolutionary response to violence. Each time he is destroyed, he returns immune to the method that ended him. In a universe where escalation is the only law, what happens when escalation stops working? This is not a battle story. This is a thought experiment about inevitability, about a creature designed to grow stronger in the very environment that Warhammer 40K represents. This is the moment an unending war encounters an unending adaptation. Doomsday was never meant to win a single fight. He was meant to survive all fights. His biology is not natural in the conventional sense. It is reactive, self-correcting, and brutally efficient. When exposed to a force that kills him, his structure rewrites itself so that the same force can never work again. Heat, energy, matter disintegration, temporal effects, all become obsolete after a single encounter. He does not plan. He does not retreat. He advances until adaptation occurs. This makes him fundamentally different from every dominant force in the Warhammer galaxy, because every power in that universe relies on specialization. Warp entities rely on corruption. Necrons rely on annihilation technology. Tyranids rely on biological absorption. The Imperium relies on overwhelming sacrifice. Doomsday does not specialize. He generalizes through survival. That is why his arrival would not be a war. It would be a systemic failure. Doomsday does not arrive through ceremony or invasion. He arrives through accident, a spatial rupture, a collapsed translation corridor, a forgotten edge of real space, where physics already struggles to remain stable. Imperial sensors detect a moving mass immune to orbital bombardment. Weapons designed to crack continents reduce entire regions to ash. Yet something continues walking forward. Initial reports classify it as a Tyranid variant. That classification lasts exactly one engagement. Bioscans fail. Psychic observation fails. The thing does not respond to fear, rage, or instinct. It responds only to impact. Each time it is struck, it becomes denser, harder, more efficient. The galaxy has seen monsters before, but this is the first time it encounters a problem that does not behave like a life form or a machine. It behaves like a correction algorithm written into reality itself. The Imperium reacts the only way it knows how: escalation. Planetary defense cannons, Titan legions, entire populations sacrificed to slow a single entity. Doomsday is erased at the atomic level and returns immune to atomic dispersion. Void weapons scatter him across kilometers, and he reassembles faster than before. Each failure makes him more resistant, not just physically, but tactically. He begins to anticipate firing patterns. He positions himself where collateral damage benefits him. The Imperium is not losing because it lacks power. It is losing because power alone is insufficient. Doomsday does not need to understand the Imperium. He only needs to survive it once, and once is enough. Eventually, the warp notices him. But here lies the paradox. The warp feeds on emotion, belief, sensation, and identity. Doomsday has none. He does not fear. He does not hate. He does not desire. When warp energies tear him apart, he adapts not by resisting, but by stabilizing. His structure begins to ignore non-physical influence. Psychic attacks become background noise. Entities formed of thought cannot anchor themselves to a creature that generates no psychic resonance. For the first time, the warp encounters something it cannot meaningfully interact with. Doomsday is not immune because he is powerful. He is immune because there is nothing to corrupt, influence, or distort. The warp does not break him. It teaches him how to exist without it. The great warp entities attempt escalation. Manifestations stronger than any battlefield has seen. Reality bends. Space fractures. Doomsday is destroyed again and again and again. And each time, something fundamental changes. He begins to anchor himself to real space. Warp storms pass over him without effect. Corruptive forces slide off like static. The entities realize too late that every attempt to dominate him only improves his resistance. They are not fighting a rival. They are training a countermeasure. In a universe where chaos is adaptive and mutable, Doomsday becomes something unprecedented. A fixed point. A constant. Something chaos cannot rewrite. The Tyranid hive mind recognizes Doomsday as a potential asset. Assimilation begins. Bioforms surround him. He is consumed, broken down, studied at a genetic level beyond comprehension. And then the hive mind encounters a flaw. Doomsday adapts inside the swarm. His cells reject integration. His presence introduces instability. Bioforms that consume him collapse. Entire splinter fleets suffer feedback errors. For the first time, the hive mind encounters prey that cannot be optimized. Doomsday does not become part of the swarm. The swarm begins adapting around him, and that is unacceptable. He is expelled, not defeated, rejected. Evolution itself refuses him. Necrons attempt erasure. Phase weapons, reality dislocation, chronal deletion. Doomsday ceases to exist, briefly, then returns immune to temporal displacement. His structure learns how to remain anchored across timelines. Tomb worlds awaken only to realize that their most ancient weapons now function at reduced efficiency. The Necrons were built to outlast time. Doomsday learns to survive it. He is no longer merely adaptive. He is persistent across states of existence. Something that should not be possible. Something the galaxy was never designed to handle. The Emperor's psychic presence reaches out, not with rage, but with absolute authority. A force that has ended star-spanning wars. Doomsday is unmade at a conceptual level, and returns altered. He no longer reacts only to physical damage. He begins resisting existential influence. The Emperor does not fail due to weakness. He fails because Doomsday converts failure into data. The clash is brief, devastating, and inconclusive, not because the Emperor cannot destroy him, but because destruction no longer solves the problem. Across the galaxy, a realization spreads. Doomsday cannot be defeated traditionally. He cannot be controlled. He cannot be contained. Every attempt only increases his threat profile. He does not conquer worlds. He does not rule. He simply moves forward, adapting to whatever attempts to stop him. Entire sectors are abandoned, not destroyed, avoided. For the first time, the galaxy does not escalate. It retreats, because this is not war. This is selection pressure. Warhammer 40K is built on the idea that conflict defines existence. Doomsday challenges that premise. He proves that conflict is not endless escalation. It is finite learning. Once adaptation is complete, the war ends, not with victory, with irrelevance. Doomsday does not need to destroy the galaxy. He simply needs to outgrow it. In the end, Doomsday does not sit on a throne. He does not reshape civilization. He becomes something worse, a walking boundary condition, a reminder that no system based solely on force can survive infinite adaptation. The galaxy continues to burn, but now it burns around something it cannot overcome. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect is not that Doomsday adapts to weapons, powers, or entities. It is that he adapts to meaning. He turns the galaxy's greatest strength, endless war, into its greatest weakness. In a universe where everything exists to fight forever, Doomsday represents the end of escalation, not peace, not victory, just the moment when violence stops being effective. And that may be the most horrifying outcome imaginable.